Another question that reached us is how can cost modeling help us in growing and executing that growth of an organization in this particular situation, a bank? That's a pretty broad question, to be honest, because, yeah, how do we define growth in this situation? Is that organic growth or is that inorganic growth? So, different scenarios do apply here, but I'll try to address most of them. First, from the organic side, if you look to at organic growth, that can either come from selling more products that you already have or introducing new products. Let's first focus on selling more products that you already have. Well, as I've mentioned a couple of times before, cost modeling should always be done as much as possible through a cause and effect way so that you really know what causes which cost. And if you think of that, that if you would sell more products, then if you have a very good cause and effect modeling, you will be very capable of trying to figure out if I sell X percent extra, that would mean that I would have extra activities to be done. That would mean that I need so much resources. Do I have those resources or do I hire them from the market? What extra costs are associated with that? So the whole cause and effect chain of selling more products would really help you in identifying and executing the growth. Because if you come to a conclusion that you don't have the capacity in your resources to actually handle that extra growth, and getting extra resources proves to be very expensive, you might as well model that beforehand so that you can really execute on that. Similar thing holds when you come to new products. So not this situation where you just increase your current product portfolio, but you have a new product in there. By introducing a new product, you probably need new processes. The new processes are new activities. And the question is, do you have the right resources to do so? And probably in the beginning, they are not as efficient because it's all new as they could be in the end. And you might want to modeling the difference in those efficiencies. And you might want to model the different volume scenarios. And if you have those different volume scenarios and you model those also on the cost side, you can really figure out what the cost of those elements are. And if you, on the other hand, model, of course, your pricing situation, you get the answers on whether or not it's profitable. So that's basically on the organic growth side. In the other situation where you are trying to grow, but not in an organic way, but inorganic way through a merger or an acquisition, I would advocate the same, more or less. I would advocate that you would really model both organizations with similar standards and guidelines so that you could actually see if I would put them together, which elements are then actually creating a overcapacity or maybe even undercapacity. And sometimes it sounds very simple because you could think of, oh, I will have two finance departments, I can probably reduce that to one or one and a half. But that might not always be the case because you also have to figure out, are they both on the same accounting standards? Maybe they have different accounting standards, then it might not be as easy. A similar situation holds if you have branches in, say that you have two branches in the exact same place. Do you need to have them both? And how do you want to go about it? If you have a really true cause and effect modeling, you could actually figure that out beforehand. And I've seen situations of companies using their cost modeling and looking at the target companies, asking those real cost parameters and operational parameters to model that beforehand to see whether or not this could actually help them on their growth journey that they wanted to. So, yeah, as a short answer to the question of, yeah, can cost modeling help you in your growing strategy? Yes, it definitely can.